participant, welcome to the last topic of week 1. I'm your instructor, Murray Eda. In this video, we will learn about internal threats, how to identify them, and their consequences. An internal threat refers to the risk emerging inside a company, government agency, or institution and affects the computer system. Internal threats can be caused by employee sabotage and theft of data and/or physical equipment, unauthorized access by employees to secure areas and administration functions, weak cybersecurity measures and unsafe practices, accidental loss or disclosure of data, and lastly, damage to computer equipment from fire, flooding, power loss, or terrorism. When it comes to the implementation of cybersecurity, humans are regarded as the weakest link. An insider threat is a person inside an institution who can exploit a system in a way to cause damage or steal data. A former, current employee or contractor with access to sensitive information or privileged accounts may be manipulated into orchestrating the damage or threat to a school. An insider threat can result in the following: 1. Financial loss. 2. Ruined reputation of a school. 3. Loss of trust from parents and students. 4. Compromise of student and staff data. 5. Disclosure of institution's secrets. And lastly, lawsuits from parents. The 3 types of insider threats in this topic are malicious insider, also known as turn clock, careless insider, also known as pawn or mistake maker, and lastly, a mole, also known as imposter. A malicious insider is a person who intentionally misuses legitimate credentials or privileged access to steal information for personal gain or financial gain. An advantage a malicious insider has over external attackers is that they are familiar with the security guidelines and procedures present in the institution. This can be an employee, a contractor, or a student. A careless insider can be an employee or a student who makes an honest mistake that exposes the system to an outside threat. This mostly results from phishing emails, leaving a device unlocked, or writing down credentials on a paper lying around. A mole is an outsider who has illegally managed to gain access to an institution's or company's network. In most cases, a mole steals credentials belonging to an authorized user. According to a study conducted by Ponemon Institute, the highest number of insider threats are as a result of mistake makers or careless insiders through phishing schemes. The most common causes of insider threats are an employee acting on the opportunity to use data for personal gain or steals and sells the data, disgruntled employees stealing and leaking data online to get back at their former employer for a perceived justice, and lastly, negligence or lack of awareness from an employee, which is the most common cause of insider threats. What are the indicators of a malicious insider threat? We can identify an insider threat through digital and behavioral warning signs. The digital warning signs are downloading or accessing substantial amounts of data, accessing sensitive data not associated to their job function, accessing data that is outside their unique behavioral profile, multiple requests for access to resources not associated with their job function, using an authorized storage device such as USB drives or floppy disks, network searches for sensitive data, data hoarding, copying files from sensitive folders, and emailing sensitive data outside the school. While the behavioral warning signs are attempting to bypass security, for example, through tailgating, frequently in the school during school off hours, displaying disgruntled behavior towards their co-workers, violation of school guidelines, and lastly, discussions of resigning or new opportunities. Prevention is better than cure. The best way to prevent an internal threat incident from occurring is by a school or institution taking the approach to prevent attacks causing loss, detect attacks, respond to the incident, and return to a secure state. The school can take the following measures. 1. Conduct thorough background checks on employees before hiring them. 2. Use the principle of least privilege, where new accounts in the organization should have the least access permissions needed to perform a task. 3. Document guidelines indicating security procedures all students and staff should follow. 4. Implement a security monitoring tool in the network to track data access and activities of all users and identify privileged users misusing their rights. An example is Microsoft Network Monitor tool. 5. Create an insider threat detection team that monitors behavioral activities of all users. 6. Educate and train students and staff on attack vectors such as phishing email and dangers of breaching security guidelines. Number 7. Establish physical security in the school or institution. This may involve implementation of biometrics in the server room or IT department. And lastly, perform risk assessment by first identifying critical assets, possible vulnerabilities, and threats that may affect them. The following are case studies of cyber incidents that occurred in schools as a result of insider threats. The first incident in 2018, a temporary IT worker in Chicago public schools was arrested and charged with stealing personal data of 70,000 staff, volunteers, and students. The employee stole data containing personal identifiable information, criminal histories, and records of individuals associated with the Department of Children and Family Services. This is because he was fired. The second incident, a high school teacher in Japan accidentally leaked private information on the school's website. The data contained students' names, health conditions, and records. The teacher was uploading a notice to address parents and guardians on an upcoming swimming class when the incident occurred. The last incident, Henry Park Primary School in Singapore accidentally sent personal data of over 1,900 pupils to 1,200 parents through email in an attached Microsoft Excel file. The document contained parents' and students' names, phone numbers, and email addresses. We have come to the end of week 1. In week 2, we will concentrate on data security. Thank you for your continued effort and participation.